Online success at ClubWPT.com has brought 6 lucky players to Hollywood for a stay at Four Seasons Hotel Westlake Village, a shot at big cash, and a starring role on FSN, offered exclusively through the club, ClubWPT.com. Welcome to the club. We're glad you could join us. I'm Barry Tompkins alongside Bart Hansen, a poker professional, and we've got 6 new players to tell you about. In seat number 1, it's David Cothran. David comes to us from Jacksonville, Florida. He's an air conditioner contractor. Next to him in seat number 2, James Wiley. He's from Orange Park, Florida. Says he's been playing poker since he was 14 years old. Seat 3 is Robert York from Houston, Texas, a machinist and a Vietnam veteran. In seat number 4, Ramon Scott. He knows about poker. He's a dealer. And in seat number 5, Paul Patterson III. Call me Pat, he says, from Brentwood, Tennessee. And next to Pat, it's Rudy Meese. Rudy comes from Chalmette, Louisiana. Those are our 6 players, all qualified at ClubWPT.com to be here and play live poker.
Well, we start with 2,000, 4,000 blinds. And right off the bat,
I'm going to raise 10.
Pretty darn good hand for Robert York.
Yep.
Raise it to 14,000.
And a good raise. He raises just over 3 times the big blind. We've seen small raises on previous matches of ClubWPT.com, but it looks like this guy knows what he is doing.
David with a pair of 8s, so we're going to get a little action here.
Absolutely. All these players start with 100,000 in chips.
So it's David and Robert to the flop. And on the flop, 4-3-7.
We could see fireworks right away here, Barry, because David has an overpair and Robert has the nut flush draw with 2 over cards. It wouldn't surprise me if we could get both of these players stacks in right here on the flop.
14,000 the bet from David. Now Robert.
Well, just a call.
5 of clubs on the turn, no help.
David still with the best of it. He's picked up a straight draw now as well. You can see Robert still has a 33% chance to win the hand.
14,000 is the bet from David.
And that's kind of a weakish bet.
And a quick call from Robert.
Yep.
On the river, 10 of spades. There's the flush for Robert.
And Robert has the nuts. And I can't believe it. David looks like he's still betting in.
I'm going to raise 20.
Well, why not? Robert says, I'll raise 20. He's got the goods.
Well, David put a small 10,000 chip bet out, you know, on the river on a scary card. Robert played it like he had a flush draw the whole time. And if you're going to play it like this, you got to fold to a raise. And it looks like he does.
Yep, so David gets out of the way, and Robert takes down the hand, and a good one it was. There's our tournament director. He is Jack McClellan, and he'll be holding court here.
Well, you're either shaking from the coffee or you're from a great hand.
Giving you guys all kinds of trouble, aren't I?
Well, there's James trying to do a little work on Robert.
Well, James, you know, he saw that Robert was shaking, and normally when a player shakes, it means that they have a very, very strong hand. Lines have moved up here to 5,000, 10,000.
And a little pair. It's squeezed out by Pat.
I'll raise it. Make it 20.
Well, just a minimum raise. And that usually induces the blinds to come in. Ooh.
Well, here's a guy who's going to come in.
Absolutely.
All in.
All in.
Well, I think Pat should be able to get away from pocket 4s here. I mean, David has basically said, I have a big hand. Do you really want to play it for all your chips?
Getting greedy now.
I would be so crippled if I lose.
You know, Pat's got to realize it's still early on here. He could be absolutely crushed if the guy has a higher pair, which he does.
I'm gonna go for it. I'll call you.
Wow.
But
He calls.
he gambles. He was getting about 2 to
Oh,
1.
it's not a race at all. I'm hammered.
He was hoping for a race, Barry. He's hoping to see that David had ace, king, or ace, queen, but you can see he's just crushed.
You heard him say, I'm hammered. So he needs a lot of help. And he doesn't get it on the flop. 8, jack, ace.
Well, he's going to need to catch a 4 here on the turn or on the river.
Oh,
A 3 on the turn.
That was close.
come on, David. 4.
And a deuce. And so David will double up.
Nice hand, baby.
Ran into a big one.
So good hand for David. He loses 1, he wins 1, and the one he won was a pretty darn good one. Gives us a chance to take a look at this week's online TV seat winners. You look at them with us. We got a whole lot more to come. We're just getting started on the club. This is ClubWPT.com. Welcome back to the club, ClubWPT.com. Barry Tompkins, Bart Hanson, and of course, the one little thing that we always tell you about that is available for use in this game is a bluff chip. A player can only use it one time. It forces the opposing player to reveal his or her hole card to the table. But you can only use it once, and if you're eliminated before you use it, too bad.
And you can only use it when you are against your opponent and you fold your hand.
Now, Rudy with an ace-7 suited.
A call.
Well, Rudy chosen just to limp in here. Probably would have liked to have seen him raise.
Well, Ramon folded an ace. Now Pat
All in.
going all in.
Well, he's on the short stack. I don't mind the play. You know, you hope that the guy folds. King Queen is a pretty good hand.
Tough decisions.
And if Rudy does call, it's going to be just about a coin flip.
Boy, boy, boy. You know, this poor fella here. How can I get away from this hand?
Take those 2 cards and throw them right there.
Well, here's the thing, Barry, with ace
Bluff
little.
button, and I'll show you.
Again, if Rudy has an ace, you are dominated. If he has a hand like King Queen, it's going to be a coin flip. So that usually means you should fold.
You'll be crippled if you lose.
Yeah. Can I use my button
Sure, if you throw your hand away.
if I fold?
That's what we just talked about. You do have to fold before you use that button.
He does, and he
I have to
does.
show everybody.
Pocket fours. I'm just curious.
Pocket fours.
If he's got those fours. Cowboys.
Real hand. King, queen.
And there he does show it.
Is it the right way now?
Well, should have, could have, but
Do you have an ace?
yeah. With a low kicker though.
I'm glad you folded.
But I had suited though.
Hanging on by a
But
thread, boys.
it seems like those spades ain't been going my way.
Thought I probably fudged.
Well, he lives to play another day.
Well, sometimes the tournament is about survival. It chooses not to gamble it up there.
Well, James going to get rid of that 6-5 suited. Robert a 4-3 likewise.
Yeah. Again, with this structure, high cards have more value than those kind of small suited hands. So I like to see those guys fold those hands, and they have been.
Now Rudy with a jack deuce. He calls.
Raise.
And David, sensing weakness, will raise.
Yeah, this is a good play here. You get a guy in the small blind that just decided to call. You've got king high. I like the play.
I'll call.
Oh, he gets a call.
Now that's a little bit suspect here with jack deuce of diamonds out of position. You know, you wonder if the nerves are starting to creep up on some of these players.
And a pair of 8s and a 9.
Well, both of these guys miss. Let's see if David can make a continuation bet here.
It appears he will. 20,000.
And that should get it done, Barry.
And Rudy throws it away. It does get it done. So well played hand by David. Barry Tompkins along with Bart Hanson. And Bart, usually at this juncture of the competition, you and I are kind of able to separate the wheat from the chaff, and a potential winner kind of starts to emerge. I don't see that today. We've got 6 players of equal ability. Very tough to pick a winner.
Well, they all look very, very comfortable, and they are all playing small pot poker. With one exception, Pat got in that hand with pocket fours against David with pocket kings, but these guys are all experienced. They know how much to raise pre-flop, 2.5 to 3 times the big blind, and when they're betting the pot, they're betting most of the pot.
Here's another factor, too, I think. These are 6 players of just about an equal ability. Normally, they play at clubwpt.com. That's how they qualified to get here, but most importantly, they're not awed by being here. Well, all 6 players in a very competitive table. Robin and Jack Queen, he'll get rid of that. Ramon also, 10-3 suited, goodbye. Pat with the King 8, he's probably been the most aggressive player, but he gets rid of that hand, so does Rudy.
So it's folded around to the blinds.
And just a call.
Yep, David completes the small blind.
Now James, King 7. And a check.
Well, both players share a 7 here, so if we do see a 7 come out, we could see some action.
Doesn't happen, no. 3, 4, 6.
Both of these guys have inside straight draws to a 5, and whoever takes the initiative and bets first may take this hand down, and it looks like David's just about to do that.
I'm all in.
Well, James going all in right in the face of that 20,000 bet.
Wow, that's unbelievable, because David bet out with his, weak draw, and James has raised with the same weak draw. They both have just 7s here, and David can't really call. But that's good aggressive play there by James.
Boy, I'll say. James Wiley said he's been playing since he was 14 years old. Well, very competitive table that we have, and for the first time today, let's introduce Club WPT's Allison Waite.
Looks like a lot of fun, right? Well, it is. All you gotta do is log on to clubwpt.com, get yourself registered, and start playing to win your share at over $100,000 in cash and prizes every month. There's 5,000 poker tournaments 24/7, all waiting for you at clubwpt.com. You grab your computer and we'll grab a break.
Well, our players get the opportunity to stay at a great place. Four Seasons Hotel, Westlake Village. Part of a great experience, and then they get to sit at a live poker table, having won their way here at the club, clubwpt.com.
Well, the blinds are up to 8,000, 16,000 now. So a lot of stealing going to be a big advantage. But again, Robert just decides to limp in here. Once again, that big blind's going to get a free look at the flop.
7-6 deuce on the flop, so Robert has caught a pair.
Yeah, he's got middle pair. He's got the best of it.
20.
David has a straight draw here to a 5, but probably not going to get involved.
He doesn't, throws it away. So Robert will win this hand. Been pretty competitive here. I don't think there's any real glaring weak links at the table here.
And except with that hand with Pat with pocket 4s early on in the match, we haven't seen anybody really commit a lot of chips.
Rudy and ace-jack here. See what he does.
All in.
That's what he does.
Well, that's a great play there, Barry. You know, he's on the short stack. He needs to accumulate some dead chips, and ace-jack is a pretty good hand.
And David's getting a lot of second bests, too. James with a 5 deuce.
I got a call.
Well, it's only 19,000 for Robert to call, so he's getting almost 3 to 1. He says, I got a call, and he does have to call, but that's actually the worst hand he can possibly see.
That's not good. Good luck, Rob. You too.
And that, of course, is because he is dominated. Rudy has a better jack than he does, so he's in a bad spot.
10-5 queen on the flop.
Wow, Robert gets really, really lucky there. You can see he catches his 10, and now he's way out in the lead.
And a 3 of hearts on the turn, no help.
Well, Rudy can catch an ace or a king for a straight. He needs some help.
He got it. Wow. How about that? Rudy catching that king and staying alive.
Wow.
Wish it would have been a little bit bigger pie.
Oh, now he wants to complain about the size of the pot. Oh, boy.
Did a lot more chips, I wouldn't call. You're right. If I had a lot more
Then
chips.
you wouldn't have had anything of mine.
I'm still around, guys.
That old river.
Yep.
Well, he is still around.
Absolutely.
He said in order to get here, he said he had to get the right cards and the right flop, and that happened for him there. And this time it's the river that saves him.
We're at 10,000, 20,000 blinds.
I raised 40.
Robert makes it 40.
Well, he's going to raise to 40,000 with that pair of 8s.
Yeah.
Not me.
And that is just a minimum raise again, but we're dealing with big, big raise sizing now that the blinds are so high.
Now Rudy king 9. Gets rid of it. David, who's been finishing second best a lot.
Well, it's only 20,000 for him to call.
Call.
He does. It's close.
90,000 pot.
And on the flop, deuce king 4.
Well, Robert's probably going to be a little wary of the
I
king,
go 20.
but he is going to bet.
You got at least 20.
Oh, 20.
You can see there that David has missed. Very, very small bet, though. Now, this is actually a spot where a small bet may be prudent because Robert doesn't want to commit that much. He wants to find out if David has a king, but David's going to call him with ace high.
And a deuce of clubs on the turn.
Check.
Now a check from David. Check, check. The river's another deuce.
Well, if David checks here, I'm betting if I'm Robert.
All in.
And all in goes David. Bold move.
Wow. This is incredible because, you know, if you're Robert, you got to think that David probably has a king here. And David has just done this on a pure bluff. It's really an interesting spot. You know, Robert bet so small on the flop. He doesn't really know where he's at in the hand. He checked behind the turn, and he cannot beat a king here.
So he's got some serious contemplating to do here. Trying desperately to get a read on what David might have.
I'm going to call.
Wow.
Ooh,
Bold.
Well, you know, it was only 52,000 to call. Robert was getting, you know, almost 3 or 4 to 1. And he makes a big, big, what we like to call hero call, Barry. Can't beat much, and he's a hero.
Yeah, and David, on the other hand, as we said, he'd been finishing second a lot. He finished second that hand, and in this case, it was his last hand. Here's where we stand. Robert, our chip leader now, 255,000, almost twice that of James. On the short stack, it's Ramon. The club continues. Welcome back to the club. Well, one of the questions that we ask all our players is if you could play poker against 5 people anywhere in history, who would you pick? Here's Pat's answer.
You know, I'd have to start the table with some humor, so I'd throw Will Ferrell there. I just think he'd keep everybody in stitches. And I think you'd have to throw a poker pro in there, and I'd put Phil Hellmuth at the table because I would pay good money to see one of his crybaby fits. So.
You know, it's really interesting. Phil Hellmuth wears the mantle of the villain really well, and I think he honestly takes great pride in it because a great number of our players who win here on ClubWPT.com cite that exact story. They want to see Phil Hellmuth go down in flames.
All in.
Well, and Phil would love a hand like this as Pat is all in. He's picked up Big Slick, Ace King, and he's on the short stack.
That's 50.
And Rudy there, this is going to be interesting. King Jack offsuit, not a great hand. Again, it's not that much. You don't really like to call off your chips with King Jack offsuit.
I'll call.
Well, Rudy boldly will call.
And he's going to be in bad shape.
I need to go black.
Robert at Jack 6. I'm sure he'll get out of the way of this.
And that makes Rudy's hand even worse because one of the jacks is dead, you can see.
And Rudy knows he's in a heap of trouble now.
Yeah, look at that, 84 to 16.
Ace king against king jack.
He's in big trouble.
So here is the flop, a pair of 8s and a 6.
Rudy's going to need to catch a jack.
And another 8.
Well, if a
King.
6 comes,
No,
they'll
6.
chop it.
No split pot. Come on.
6.
Ace.
Come on, Jack.
6.
It's a 10, and that's going to be good enough. So Pat will double through, and Rudy will be eliminated. He will finish in 5th place. And Pat now puts himself in a position where he can do a little business.
Got some chirping chips now, boys.
Well, speaking of chirping, here once more is Allison Waite.
Well, these guys got on TV, and so can you with absolutely no risk. Just join ClubWPT.com today, and we'll give you the first 2 weeks absolutely free. You don't want to miss out on all those cash and prizes. Get in on all the action on ClubWPT.com.
Thank you, Allison. Play continues here, and Pat Patterson coming off a very good hand. Not this time, though.
Well, we're up to 15,000, 30,000 blinds.
I'm all in.
I call.
Well, that was quick.
Show me, Robert.
Robert all in, Ramon a quick call.
Well, Ramon is forced to put in his chips. He just doesn't have that many. So this is basically any 2 cards. And you can see there he's got 8 3 of hearts.
And a king 9 7.
Well, Ramon's going to need some help.
It is a 4. That's no help on the turn.
He needs an 8 or a 3.
Doesn't get it. And so Ramon will be eliminated. And Ramon, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah, we didn't really see him play any hands, did we?
He will be eliminated and finish in 4th place. And Robert York will put him out of the competition. Here's where we stand then. Robert is our chip leader ahead of James, Pat at 160,000. So pretty even contest. 3 left on WPT.com.
I just didn't want to be the first one out. I wanted to enjoy my time. So maybe I got caught up in that, played a little too tight, and then when those blinds went up, you just really have no option. And I didn't play any of the hands that I saw until I was pretty much forced all in.
These guys here, they play to play. You know, if they got something, they're gonna play you. And a lot of them went all in, and they had suited hands. So I didn't have nothing to go with it to play, to try to build up a chip lead. So that happens.
And then there were 3 on ClubWPT.com. Well, our qualifiers on ClubWPT.com are already winners, even more so because they get to stay here at Four Seasons Hotel, Westlake Village. What a great place. 3 players remaining. 3 good players, I might add. Robert an 8-6.
Probably not going to get involved here.
Now Pat, King Little.
So it's blind versus blind. Now King High is an above average hand. It's very tough to play out of position though. Let's see what he does with it.
I'll call.
That's what he does. James Queen 8 suited. And he checks.
Well, we're gonna see a flop. Big pots here with the blinds so high.
And there's the king.
Action's on Pat.
I'm all in.
And without hesitation, Pat goes all in.
And luckily for James, he hasn't caught a piece of this board.
James goes all out.
So he's able to throw it away, and Pat will take what's there. That's going to move Pat into a very good position right now.
You know, absolutely. You know, you wonder if Pat maybe should have checked that over to James, let James try to take a stab at it, but he just chooses to move all in. Takes down that dead money.
Action's on Pat.
Pat, king 4 again.
Well, this is a hand he's probably going to get away from. It's interesting. Last time he was blind versus blind. Here, three-handed, it's close. He's on the button. It's like he's going to fold it.
Don't feel it.
Now James.
Now, this is probably a spot where James could move his entire stack all in here.
I'm all in.
He calls, and Robert will go all in.
Well, luckily for James, he didn't move all in, and he's in big trouble if he calls, because Robert has him dominated here with ace-queen.
He throws away, and Robert will win the hand. Well, we've been talking and mentioned earlier the fact that we ask all these players their dream poker table. 5 people from any time in history who you'd like to hook up with at a poker table.
I would really like to sit down and play with the framers of the Constitution, basically to get their thoughts on what they were thinking when they did the Constitution, what they were thinking when they developed the country, and basically what the country is founded on, the thoughts and what was behind it.
I don't know if I'd be like playing with Benjamin Franklin. You know, he'd be cocky enough to say, "Here, play with one of my monies."
It's it's interesting. That's definitely a pretty unique answer there, Barry.
I'll call.
I wouldn't want to hook up with Jefferson either. He's a smart guy.
I'm gonna raise.
Well, look at this, Pat here with 2 jacks.
What would George Washington do?
75 more.
That raises 75.
Not bad.
Well, I can tell you what Robert's going to do. He's going to
Yes,
fold.
me too. And Pat's going to win. Cannot tell a lie. Have we beaten that into the ground quite yet?
Okay, Pat. Hard drive, the action's going to be on Robert.
Robert playing with a lot of confidence. In fact, all these players are.
Well, once again, blind versus blind here. Pat with 10-7 offsuit. We've seen a lot of these guys just, you know, complete in the small blind. I'd actually like to see them raise, take down that dead money.
That's a serious look.
Call.
Well, he's just going to limp.
I'm all in.
Yeah,
Why not? King Jack, James all in.
definitely good enough hand when the small blind limps to push all in. It's a good play by James.
Chips getting pushed around the table here.
Oh, I should have used my button right there.
Here once more is Allison Waite.
You're watching ClubWPT.com, and these people joined the club for just $19.95 a month. And now they're playing for fame and fortune on national television. And you can too. Sign on to ClubWPT.com. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Well, our guests get to stay at Four Seasons Hotel, Westlake Village, the Asian Gardens at Four Seasons. 3 people remaining. Let's take a look and see where we stand right at the moment. Here is the chip count, and it is still extremely close. Robert 221, Pat 190, James 189. Anybody's guess?
On me?
Action's on Pat.
Big hand there.
I'll raise.
And now it just becomes a question, do the other players just get unlucky if they see hands like ace-jack and ace-10 and they're forced to call?